Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Saturday morning, shaping up to be a nice day. It's only around 6:30. Miss Cassie Springer got me up at 5 a.m. again today. Seems to be a regular occurrence, as her schedule is wake up as soon as the sun rises. So I want to start this video addressing a couple of comments that have come in overnight while I've been sleeping. One of them is in my Facebook group. Now this is by somebody who comments a lot, who I enjoy the contributions of, and she's supposedly dispelling some rumours. Well, that's all well and good, but how do we know that any of these things aren't true? How can we prove that any of these things aren't true? But how can you or I prove that any of them are? It goes back to the video that I made the other day in that field right there. What facts do we have in the Summer Wells case? What do we have? We have that she's missing. We have, according to the TBI, that she went missing and was last seen in the early afternoon of June 15th, 2021. And a family member reported her missing around 6:30. That's it. Now we've got a few nuggets from law enforcement, from Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, from Detective John Pruitt, and from Leslie Earhart from the TBI. So what we're doing in this case, all of us are doing in this case, are discussing theories, trying to find evidence for the theories that we're talking about. There's a whole lot of speculation. That's fine, as long as it's clear that it is. And there's a whole lot more personal opinion. Again, all of that is fine. This is what the true crime community does. Discuss these things. Discuss these cases. Now, could it be that someone happens upon something that will crack the case? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But can we, as YouTubers, really find anything out that law enforcement can't? No, I don't think so. But what us in the true crime community are privy to is people speaking out. Quite a few people have spoke out over the last 11 months. The vast majority, though, are people who got in contact with Don, Candice and Grandma and other people involved like Ali, after. So none of these people knew the Wells, the Blighs, before Summer disappeared. And some of that is very, very useful. But does any of it tell us who was involved? No. How Summer got gone? No. That's why I start with the why. I start with motive. What was the motive for anybody to have disappeared Summer in whatever way? Whether that turns out to be murder, an accident that was covered up, trafficking, a lone abductor who took an opportunity. Any of these things on the table. Why though? Well, abduction, trafficking, it's sex, isn't it? Let's be frank. An accidental cover-up, the motivation to hide things from an autopsy. I don't believe that personally, but a lot of you guys do, and that's fine. Entitled to your opinion. Now the second comment was a YouTube comment that I replied to. So again, no shade against these people for asking the question. It's a perfectly logical question to ask, and that is, why up to now have I defended Jodisue? Why has it taken me so long to realise that she's involved? Almost to an inappropriate level. Well, we don't know she is involved. We don't know who's involved. We don't know anything. We don't know if Don's involved, Candice is involved, Grandma's involved. The entirety of Breach Creek is involved. We don't know. It's theory, discussion, speculation, hearsay, opinion. However, I think I understand the spirit of the question. And yeah, up to very recently, I've always considered Jodisue a witness. I mean, yeah, she's a neighbour. She was in the vicinity on the afternoon of Summer's disappearance. She's told us she is. So in terms of law enforcement, yeah, she's going to be a person of interest, isn't she? So are her children, one of whom is an adult, one of whom is 19. He may even be 20 now, if he's had a birthday, but 19 at the time Summer disappeared. Could Jodisue have given him an alibi? Yeah. But we don't know that she did. But I have been watching. I have been listening. I have been clocking things in my brain. And I can't deny that a whole lot of problematic things have come out. But does it mean I think she's involved? No. Because I don't know if she is. Like I've said for the longest time, that things that Don and Candice, and to a lesser extent Grandma, have said are wholly problematic, makes them look guilty. Does it mean they are guilty? No. We don't know. Same with Jodisue. The more I look at things from the lens of let's consider Jodisue a person of interest rather than a witness, yeah, I see a whole lot of things differently. But that's my perception, isn't it? Using that lens that Jodisue, her family, are persons of interest, then we can look at some of the things that have been said over the last few months in a different light. And there's a couple of things that I want to bring up here in this video. Firstly, it's the excellent live, 3 hours of it, by Crackin Cases. If you haven't seen it, it was one of the best live streams I've seen for quite a while, in terms of people on the panel, in terms of keeping it sensible, no drama, and the information was very thought-provoking. Are they proving anything that relates to Summer's disappearance? No, they're not. But these things are interesting and should be considered. You know, the other day when I made a video of Creeper in the Woods, like, I brought the internet, or our little tiny proportion of it, when I played a short clip from one of Squall Tit's lives. I'll leave a link to that in the description. It's 11 hours. The clip that I took, the couple of minutes, is from around 4:45, 4 hours 45, between 4 hours 40 and 45, around there. Jodisue's son was seen in the woods and he was chased down the hill. Now, someone who was a witness to this came on Cam and Ali's panel and just gave her interpretation of events. She filled in a few of the gaps. She said he'd been seen on a number of occasions by different people. I believe it's 5 different people. And this was in the middle of the day, not in the middle of the night. It wasn't tweakers just chasing people around the woods. According to this witness, it was in the day. One occasion was August the 2nd, another occasion was August the 16th. So these events were 2 months nearly after Summer disappeared. So are these events directly related to Summer's disappearance? No, of course not. Of course they're not. We knew from the jump this wasn't information from the day Summer disappeared. How could it be? Because the alarms weren't installed then. There weren't people on the property then doing repairs. These people were there helping out, volunteering. But the confusion came when Jodisue was down on Ben Hill Road and she said that her son, her adult son, was just checking the mail. And the witness says that Candice appeared to take Jodisue's side and just said, oh, well, yeah, he's checking the mail. So was that really naive of Candice? Was she just genuinely didn't care, didn't think anything of it? He's been allowed on that property on other occasions, so did she not care? Did she not think it through? So it's easy for the witnesses to say, oh well, Candice isn't bothered, therefore let's not worry about it. This was August. This was at the time, I think, before Jodisue started to talk about Candice and Don as potential suspects. So perhaps it was one neighbour looking out for another. Maybe there's something more nefarious in it. Don't know. What was he doing there? Well, you know, if he was allowed on the property, why would he not just go up the driveway? Why is he sneaking round the woods? And allegedly, according to this witness, he ran down the steep side of the banking behind Grandma's camper. Now that is steep. And on one occasion, they lost him down there. You know, remember this is August. This is when the leaves are still on the trees. It's before fall. So easy to lose somebody. I mean, I wonder whether he was spying, seeing who was there. But why? Listening in on conversations, but why? Why would you care? You know, 19? Surely you've got better things to do. Why would you care? You're doing your mum's bidding. Your mum wants to know what was being said. If so, why? I don't know. It's just odd. But it's not related to Summer's disappearance, is it? It's just weird. And there's a whole lot of weirdness. There's a whole lot of weirdness in this case from day one, from just about everybody who has spoken out, who has, you know, known the Wells before Summer got gone. Everybody is questionable. Everything. From everybody. Hunter, Ali, Jose, yeah, and Jodisue, Fred Hill. And that's the second thing I want to bring up in this video. I said in yesterday's video that I was going to re-listen to Ziggy's conversation with Fred Hill and his wife. Now, this was when she went to Tennessee. I could understand why Jodisue found it hilarious. I found it hilarious. Because, you know, this bones thing, that Fred showed Ziggy some bones and was like, oh, I don't know whether it's animal, I don't know whether it's human. And she ended up calling the cops. And it was obvious from the pictures that she showed that these weren't human. These are deer bones. Did I know that those bones there were deer bones? Yeah. But Ziggy didn't know. And she was taken advantage of, in my opinion. And Fred did that. Fred would have known what deer bones look like. So, what, he was having a laugh? I mean, you know, did Jodisue put him up to it? Or did he, you know, he's been watching YouTube. It was shortly after the Heels on the Ground people had been there. So, did he think, oh, the next person coming along Ben Hill, I'm going to have a laugh with them? Probably. And I've largely discredited what Fred has said. Not just because of the deer bones. Not just because I thought he's just a prankster. I mean, Sleuth Dog loves him. Go and watch Sleuth Dog's videos on on Fred Hill. Sleuth Dog has a soft spot for Fred. You know, some of the things are just silly, like Rose Bly. He thought Rose Bly used to live at 110 Ben Hill Road and she was part of this prostitution ring. No, Fred. But maybe he really believed it. Maybe he didn't understand. Maybe he didn't know who Rose was. Oh, come on, Fred. And that Candice had 2 daughters after Summer. Well, one that Don didn't even know about, that she had when Don was at work. Come on, Fred. Where did you hear that? How would Don not know she was pregnant? I guess women do hide the pregnancies, but allegedly she was sterilised and her tubes tied after Summer. I don't know whether that's true. I've never seen any medical evidence of that, but I find it hard to believe. But there were other things that he said that could well be true. You know, I just said, look, everything he's saying is just pranking. It's just nonsense. He's leading Ziggy a merry dance. But, you know, let's put a few of these things in the mix. Let's do it. You know, saying that he saw Andy, his cousin, on Ben Hill Road around 3:30. Now, Geordi Sue says that Andy was at work and can prove it. So hopefully the cops have proved that he was on camera at work all day. If so, that's great. It's another thing that Fred got wrong. He said he saw Don leaving in the morning. Well, yeah, he went to work. He thought he had one of the boys with him. Don't know. Did the eldest boy go with him to help him? If so, when did the eldest boy come home? He was there when Summer disappeared, according to Jodie Sue, and Don didn't say any different, did he? But how would he? How would he say something different if he knew that he wasn't at work all day? So there are some interesting things, some things that you could well question. You know, it's worth digging a little bit deeper here, isn't it? Because we don't know if Don was at work all day. I don't know whether law enforcement can prove Don's whereabouts all day. You know, Detective Pruitt said that they've gone through cell data, GPS, cell tower data. Well, okay, let's imagine this scenario. Let's theorise that Don left some point in the morning, maybe with the eldest boy, who knows, according to Fred, maybe. And he went in the Subaru, so, you know, his good buddy Starlink gave him an alibi there. Well, okay, what about if he took another vehicle, you know, one of the vehicles from Tucker Drywall, and came back, maybe left his phone at work? Why would he come back? Remember H's phone call that someone called Andy was there trying to touch the kids. Remember that? When he talked to Chris McDonough, and it came out later that Andy was Candice's drug dealer. So is this Andy Jodie Sue's ex? Can't be her son, because his name isn't Andy. You can call him Andy Jr. just as a pseudonym, I guess. I don't know why I'm even protecting his name. He's an adult. Would H know him? Would H know Jodie Sue's son? Would the boys be looking out the window and say, oh my God, there's a creeper, that creeper's back again? You know, how do we know that Jodie Sue's son hadn't been out there a lot before Summer disappeared? How do we know who that creeper was that Don allegedly talked about? Do we know H is telling the truth? Why would he make up something like that? It's an odd thing to make up. Now, would H know Jodie Sue's son? Allegedly so. I mean, Jodie Sue's even said in one of her many, many, many hours of lives that Ali, Hunter's mother, used to go and visit Andy at work. Maybe Hunter would know him by sight, but was just, you know, just saying what he'd heard, what he'd overheard in that conversation. And maybe he just heard the name Andy or Anthony or something beginning with A. Maybe he wasn't sure. Who knows? But how would Don know that someone was there in the woods creeping around? Well, maybe one of the boys told him. Maybe one of the boys told him and he came home. He just jumped in one of Tucker's trucks and came home. Dropped the eldest boy off as maybe an additional protector for the two younger boys, and then went back to work. Well, why wouldn't they say that? If that had happened, why wouldn't they say that? Because that would play into their theory that Summer was abducted. So why wouldn't they use that? If even a variation of that happened, would they be scared of, you know, leaving the two younger boys, 11 a 9 home alone. Is that what they're hiding? There's something else going on. Or is it completely untrue that none of that happened? Don was at work all day, as he said. Didn't leave. Maybe went and got some lunch, but didn't leave other than that. And all that's recorded on Starlink. And H misheard. Or Candice lied. Or H lied. Or... we don't know. I say again, everything we have in this case is hearsay. But look, to be honest, if you deep dive into any case, you're gonna see the same thing. It's just that there's, the Summer Wells case has blown up. So we see it in, a magnified way. But if you take any case that's discussed on social media... Tilly! Come here. Tilly. Girl. But if you take any case that's discussed on social media, we don't have access to police files. So what do? We discuss theories. We hear from family members. I'm following the Kaitlyn Ledbetter case from Overton County, Tennessee, over in the west towards Nashville. Not connected to the Wells, but similarities. Kaitlyn's 25 years old, but was last seen by her dad jumping out of a 7-foot-high window at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she was barefooted. And dogs tracked her and found a barefoot footprint. Where have we heard that before? But this is according to her sister and her auntie. There's nothing from law enforcement whatsoever on that case. There's actually nothing in that case, apart from a really in-depth interview that was done on TCSpotlight's channel. It brings up some really, really alarming information. But we've only got Kaitlyn's sister and her auntie to tell us this, and this is hearsay. Do I think it's true? Yeah, I do, because I don't have anything else. I don't have anything that will discount it. This happened on the 2nd of May 2021, and then in August 2021 the house burnt down with Kaitlyn's dad's girlfriend inside, and she died. There's just a whole lot of weirdness going on that I just want to get to the bottom of. But all I've got to go on is hearsay. I'm going to keep making videos about Kaitlyn, but it'll all be hearsay. Summer Wells has dominated the conversation in our little part of YouTube. Those of us that discuss missing cases. I follow missing persons cases probably more than any other, because it's the mystery that intrigues me. It's the circumstances that intrigue me. In saying that, we can't use any of these cases as our own personal soap opera, because that seems like what the Summer Wells case has become, and that I want to get through that, over that, past that. But it's very, very difficult. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Shaping up to be a really nice day. Oh. Tilly nearly caught a bird then. Too slow. Snooze, you lose. Oh, there's another one. She's flushing them out here. You're doing a spaniel's job. Anyway, it's goodbye from her and her. And I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye, guys.